Sinister Gates of Avenged Sevenfold.
And I am M. Shadows of Avenged Sevenfold. We're here to talk about the soundtrack to Hail to the King Deathbat, which is a retro sound that we haven't heard in a long time since the video games of the 80s and 90s. A sound that harkens back to the old school, but also very new school sounding in terms of production and the instruments used.
It's pretty much a soundtrack. You have different songs for different levels.
Yeah, you know, when you're exploring a level like Nightmare or exploring a level like A Little Piece of Heaven, you're going to be fighting the bosses to the actual track that the level is named after. But when you're, you know, exploring the worlds, these new tracks that we wrote for the album are what plays. So, you know, we did 8 new tracks to go along with the game. We were able to walk around the levels and just feel them out. And that's kind of like where the vibe would go, like of what we wanted these songs to sound like and to accompany the player going through these levels. But there's little things like where you open chests, you'll hear the Nightmare theme. You hear doom, 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 doom. Or when you open Master Key chests, you'll hear A Little Piece of Heaven play kind of in the background. I think when you talk to the Rev for the first time, Fiction plays for a second. So there's a lot of little nuances and things that happen. But not until you get to the bosses does the heavy metal version kick in and you hear the original track.
It'll be similar because we wrote it, so it's going to probably have some familiar type of vibes that we do, but it's going to be different because it's arranged 100% differently. Like he said, we were just playing around levels, checking everything out, just choosing the arrangements, and it was a lot of fun because it kind of was a bit of a departure from what we're used to. I think we had an overall vibe. We knew we wanted to do some classic 8-bit throwbacks.
All those games that I grew up loving, the Castlevanias and the Gauntlets and the Marios and the Zeldas, they all had a certain sound to them, and we wanted to capture that. We actually had a lot of help from Matt Baker, which was Zach's brother. So what we would do is we would use the program that he had, and we'd write the songs on the guitar and use drums and program drums and do all this stuff, but then we'd send it to him and let him do his thing with it because you know, sometimes you just got to know when somebody's better at arranging things than you are.
Honestly, if we had only 3 minutes and we needed 5 minutes, you know, he's so talented, we let him go with that other 2 minutes. So he actually has some songwriting on here too, which is definitely cool to collaborate with somebody so unique.
All the songs have a very strong melody that you can hum in your head. And I feel like a strong melody is the most important part to any soundtrack because it's something that you're going to hum along and it takes you right back to that level once you start thinking of that melody. So that was like one of the criteria, was strong melody on everything. Unholy Confessions, for example, that song was like a really sad song and it didn't make the record because we couldn't really agree on a chorus from what I remember. But when you take the whole song and you take it all apart and turn it into a digital world, it does feel like a graveyard. And Unholy Confessions is a title with a graveyard and a song that feels dark. It just all works out. So you got to keep working until it all works out. I think the soundtrack will be released at some point. You know, once it's in the game, it's going to be out there for people to listen to. I mean, you can go on YouTube and listen to it, do whatever you want. We just want people to enjoy it. It's a different side of us. You know, we're proud of it. It's cool, it's fun, and hopefully it will hold some people off because we like to take big breaks in between records, you know. So we just hope people enjoy it.